Most people spend their entire lives chasing money. But here's the crazy part. The biggest financial mistakes aren't made because people are bad at math. They're made because people don't understand themselves. A millionaire can go broke. An average person can quietly become wealthy. And today, you'll learn why. These are the money lessons that can completely change the way you think about wealth, success, and happiness. Lesson 1. Money isn't about math. It's about behavior. Most people think building wealth is simple. Earn more, save more, invest more. Sounds easy, right? But if money was only about numbers, almost nobody would struggle financially. The truth is that money is emotional. People don't make financial decisions with spreadsheets. They make them with fear, greed, hope, ego, stress, and personal experiences. Think about it. How many times have you bought something you didn't actually need? Not because it made financial sense, but because it made you feel good. We've all done it. And that's exactly Morgan Housel's point. Money decisions happen in your mind long before they happen in your bank account. Two people can look at the exact same investment. One sees opportunity. The other sees danger. Who's right? Maybe both. Because every person has a different life story. Imagine someone who grew up watching their parents struggle to pay bills. Every dollar feels important. Every risk feels scary. Now imagine someone who grew up in a wealthy household. Opportunities feel normal. Risk feels exciting. These two people will never think about money the same way. And that's okay. One of the biggest mistakes people make is assuming everyone should handle money exactly the same way. But money is personal, very personal. Your experiences shape your decisions. Your childhood shapes your beliefs. Your environment shapes your habits. That's why financial success isn't just about knowledge. It's about behavior. The scary part? You can know exactly what to do and still fail if your emotions take control. You can understand investing perfectly and still panic when markets crash. You can know saving is important and still spend everything because you want instant gratification. Knowledge matters, but behavior matters more. The people who build wealth aren't always the smartest people in the room. They're often the people who stay calm when everyone else is losing their minds. And honestly, that lesson alone can change your financial future. Lesson 2. Luck and risk play a bigger role than you think. Here's something most success stories never tell you. Luck matters. A lot. Now before anyone gets mad, hard work absolutely matters too. But luck matters more than most people want to admit. Think about Bill Gates. He's obviously brilliant. One of the smartest entrepreneurs ever. But when he was a teenager, he attended one of the very few schools that had access to a computer at that time. That wasn't skill. That was luck. And luck gave him an opportunity that very few people had. Now here's where the story gets even more powerful. A close friend of Gates, named Kent Evans, was also incredibly talented. Many believed he could have become a Microsoft co-founder. But before that could happen, he died in a tragic accident. Same talent, different outcome. That's risk, and that's life. Most people love simple stories. We want to believe successful people won because they're amazing, and unsuccessful people failed because they made mistakes. But reality isn't that simple. Sometimes great decisions lead to bad outcomes. Sometimes bad decisions lead to great outcomes. That's what makes money so complicated. People often confuse results with skill. If someone gets rich, we assume they're a genius. If someone loses money, we assume they're foolish. But that's not always true. Sometimes luck is involved. Sometimes risk is involved. Sometimes timing changes everything. This lesson is important because it keeps you humble. When you succeed, don't assume you're invincible. And when you fail, don't assume you're a failure. Life is rarely that black and white. The smartest people understand that luck and risk are always sitting at the table, even when nobody talks about them. And once you understand that, you stop judging people so quickly, including yourself. Lesson 3. The dangerous game of never enough. Let me ask you something. How much money is enough? Seriously, take a second and think about it. For most people, the answer sounds something like this. Just a little more. And that's where the problem begins. Because for many people, the finish line keeps moving. They get a raise. Now they want a bigger raise. They buy a nice house. Now they want a bigger house. They hit one goal. then immediately create another. And before they realize it, they've spent their entire life chasing something they'll never catch. Morgan Housel tells a powerful story. A billionaire was once making more money in a single day than famous author Joseph Heller made from his best-selling book throughout its entire history. Someone pointed this out to Heller, and his response was brilliant. He said, "Yes, but I have something he will never have. Enough." Think about that. Enough. One simple word. But most people never learn it. Modern culture constantly tells you that more is better. More money, more followers, more success, more stuff, more everything. And here's the trap. The more you get, the more you start comparing yourself to people who have even more. It's like running on a treadmill that never stops. You work harder, run faster, push yourself further, but somehow you never feel like you've arrived. That's why some people become rich but never feel wealthy. Their bank account grows, but their satisfaction doesn't, because their expectations grow even faster. And honestly, that's one of the most dangerous financial mistakes a person can make. Not because it makes you poor, but because it makes happiness impossible. At some point, you need to define what enough means for you. Because if you don't, the world will keep selling you bigger dreams forever. And trust me, there will always be someone richer. Always. Lesson 4. Social comparison is a losing game. Here's the thing. Most people don't actually want $1 million. They want what they think $1 million will make them look like. That's different. People often use money as a scoreboard. Not for survival. Not for freedom. Not for happiness. For status. For comparison. For validation. Imagine a baseball player earning $500,000 a year. That's amazing money. Most people would consider him rich. But then he looks at a superstar making $40 million a year. Suddenly he feels poor. Now imagine that superstar. He compares himself to hedge fund managers making hundreds of millions. And those hedge fund managers compare themselves to billionaires. And billionaires compare themselves to even bigger billionaires. See the problem? Nobody wins. The ladder never ends. The ceiling keeps moving. That's why social comparison is so dangerous. Because the target is infinite. You can spend your entire life chasing people you'll never catch. And even if you do catch them, you'll immediately find someone new to compare yourself to. Social media makes this even worse. Every day, you're exposed to highlights. Luxury cars, perfect vacations, huge houses, private jets, success stories. And after a while, your normal life starts feeling inadequate, even when it's actually pretty great. The truth is, comparison steals joy. It steals gratitude. It steals peace. The only person you should compare yourself to is the person you were yesterday. That's it. Because once you start measuring your life against everybody else's, you lose control of your own happiness. And no amount of money can fix that. Lesson 5. The difference between being rich and being wealthy. This lesson might be the most important in the entire book. Most people think rich and wealthy mean the same thing. They don't. Not even close. Rich is what people see. Wealth is what people don't see. Rich is the guy driving a Lamborghini. Wealth is the person who could buy the Lamborghini, but chooses not to. Rich is spending money. Wealth is keeping money. Big difference. Think about it. When you see someone wearing expensive clothes, you know they spent money. When you see someone driving an expensive car, you know they spent money. But wealth? You can't see wealth. Wealth is hidden. It's the money that wasn't spent. The investments nobody notices. The savings nobody talks about. The assets quietly growing in the background. And that's why many people become trapped. They spend money trying to look rich, while sacrificing the very thing that creates actual wealth. The funny thing is, most people admire visible luxury. But visible luxury often tells you very little about someone's financial reality. Someone making $60,000 a year can lease a luxury car. Someone deeply in debt can wear designer clothes. Someone struggling financially can look successful online. Appearances can lie. Numbers don't. Real wealth isn't about impressing strangers. It's about creating options. Options to leave a bad job. Options to take risks. Options to spend time with people you love. Options to live life on your terms. That's what wealth actually buys. freedom. And that's where the next lesson comes in. Lesson 6. Freedom is the highest form of wealth. Most people think money buys things. Cars, houses, vacations, luxury. And sure, it can buy those things. But the most valuable thing money can buy is control over your time. Think about it. What makes people happy? Many assume it's expensive stuff, but study after study shows something different. People are happiest when they feel in control of their lives, when they can decide how to spend their day, when they have freedom, when they aren't trapped. And money creates that freedom, not because money itself is magical, but because money gives you choices. You can leave toxic environments. You can say no to things you hate. You can spend more time with family. You can work because you want to, not because you have to. That's real power. And honestly, most people underestimate how valuable this is. They spend years chasing status. Meanwhile, the truly wealthy are often chasing something else. Time. Because eventually you realize something. Money lost can be earned again. Time can't. Every billionaire, every celebrity, every CEO, every athlete gets the same 24 hours. No exceptions. And once a day is gone, it's gone forever. That's why financial independence matters so much. It's not about retiring early. It's not about sitting on a beach forever. It's about having options. It's about waking up and knowing your life belongs to you. Not your bills, not your boss, not your circumstances. You. And that's one of the most powerful forms of wealth that exists. Lesson 7. Compounding. The secret that looks boring until it changes your life. Most people want results fast. Fast money, fast success, fast growth, fast everything. And honestly, that's one of the biggest reasons people struggle financially. Because wealth usually doesn't happen quickly. It happens quietly, slowly, almost invisibly, for years. Then suddenly everyone thinks it happened overnight. Think about a tree. When you plant a seed, nothing exciting happens. Days pass, weeks pass, months pass. You water it, protect it, take care of it, and it still looks small. Most people quit at this stage because they don't see results. But underground, the roots are growing, and one day the growth becomes impossible to ignore. Money works the same way. Compounding is basically money earning money, which then earns even more money, which then earns even more money. At first it looks tiny, then it becomes powerful, then it becomes unbelievable. This is why Warren Buffett became one of the richest people in history. Many people assume it's because he's smarter than everyone else. But Morgan Housel points out something important. Buffett's secret isn't just skill. It's time. He started investing as a kid, then kept investing for decades. Most people focus on how much money Buffett has. Very few focus on how long he allowed compounding to work. That's the real magic. And here's the crazy part. Compounding doesn't only apply to money. It applies to habits, relationships, knowledge, health, everything. A small improvement repeated for years becomes massive. A small mistake repeated for years becomes a disaster. The problem is that compounding is boring. People want excitement. Compounding rewards patience. People want action. Compounding rewards consistency. People want quick wins. Compounding rewards long-term thinking. And that's why so few people benefit from it. They quit too early. They change direction too often. They keep digging up the seed to see if it's growing. The lesson? Stop looking for shortcuts. Start looking for consistency. Because small actions repeated for a long time are usually more powerful than big actions repeated for a short time. Lesson 8. Getting rich is one skill. Staying rich is another. Here's something nobody talks about. Making money is hard, but keeping money is even harder. Every year, new people get rich. Athletes, entrepreneurs, investors, creators, lottery winners. The world is full of people who made money, but it's also full of people who lost it. Why? Because getting rich and staying rich require different skills. Getting rich often requires risk, optimism, bold moves, confidence, sometimes even luck. But staying rich requires something else. Humility, patience, discipline, and survival. Morgan Housel says the most important financial skill is survival. Because if you survive long enough, you get more opportunities. Think about investing. If you lose everything, the the game is over. You don't get another chance to compound. You don't get another chance to grow. You don't get another chance to benefit from future opportunities. That's why protecting what you have matters so much. Many people focus entirely on returns. Very few focus on survival. But survival is what keeps you in the game. And staying in the game is where the real magic happens. Successful investors understand this. They don't try to win every battle. They focus on winning the war. They know some investments will fail. Some decisions will go wrong. Some years will be ugly. That's normal. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is endurance. Because if you stay in the game long enough, time becomes your biggest advantage. Lesson 9. Reasonable is better than rational. This lesson completely changed how I think about money. Most financial experts tell you to be rational, perfectly logical, perfectly optimized, perfectly efficient. Sound good, but real life doesn't work that way. Because humans aren't robots. We're emotional. We get scared. We get excited. We make mistakes. And that's okay. Morgan Housel argues that being reasonable is often better than being perfectly rational. Let me explain. Imagine an investment strategy that gives amazing returns. But every time the market crashes, you panic and sell everything. Technically, it was the perfect strategy. But it wasn't the right strategy for you. Because you couldn't stick with it. Now imagine a slightly less effective strategy. One that helps you sleep at night. One you can follow consistently. One that doesn't make you panic. That strategy will probably make you more money in the long run. Because you'll actually stick to it. The best financial plan isn't the one that looks smartest on paper. It's the one you can follow during stressful times. That's a huge difference. People often fail because they choose strategies that require superhuman discipline. Then they blame themselves when emotions take over. Instead, build a system that works with human nature, not against it. Because consistency beats perfection almost every time. Lesson 10. Save money without needing a reason. Most people save money for specific goals. A car, a house, a vacation, retirement. And those are good reasons. But Morgan Housel introduces a different idea. Save money even when you don't know exactly why. At first that sounds weird. Why save if you don't have a goal? Because the future is unpredictable. Life changes. Opportunities appear. Problems show up. Things happen that you can't plan for. And money gives you flexibility. Imagine getting an amazing business opportunity, but you have no savings. Now imagine facing an emergency, but you have no savings. Both situations become stressful, not because they're impossible, but because you have no options. Savings create options, and options create freedom. Most people think wealth is about buying things, but often wealth is simply having the ability to make choices, the ability to adapt, the ability to respond when life changes. Money in the bank isn't just money. It's flexibility. It's security. It's confidence. It's breathing room. And sometimes that's worth more than any luxury purchase. Lesson 11. Plan for things to go wrong. Here's a truth nobody likes hearing. Something will go wrong. At some point. In some way. That's life. The problem is that most people build plans based on everything going right. The market will keep rising. My job will stay secure. Nothing unexpected will happen. Then reality shows up, and suddenly the plan falls apart. Successful people think differently. They expect surprises. They expect uncertainty. They leave room for mistakes. They leave room for bad luck. They leave room for reality. That's not pessimism. That's wisdom. Because when problems arrive, they're prepared, and preparation creates confidence. The future will always be uncertain. You can't eliminate uncertainty, but you can prepare for it. And that's often enough. Ending. The psychology of money teaches one powerful truth. Building wealth isn't about being the smartest person in the room. It's about mastering your behavior. Because money isn't just numbers. It's emotions. It's habits. It's choices. And when you learn to control those, you stop chasing wealth and start building a life that's truly rich. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this summary, don't forget to subscribe for more life-changing book lessons.